below, Sports Rush Media. Follow me on all social media platforms. Of course, Spotify at the James Espinosa Show. That's where you can find this recording. A little bit later on today, I'll make sure to upload that for you. I did have some technical issues in my last recording, so I had to stop that recording. I was on a roll, baby, but I'm going to pick up right where I left off. I'm looking at myself right now. My audio looks clean. It looks crisp. Everything looks to be going well. So I do appreciate Anthony Gonzalez for pointing that out. Thank you, Anthony. So, hey, that's what happens when sometimes you are working on this live stream. Issues will happen, and you have to troubleshoot on the fly. But as I was talking about, let me go ahead and get what I was doing here. Longhorns picked to finish first in the Big 12. Haven't won the Big 12 since 2019. The league media picked them to win this past Wednesday when they had their voting. So Longhorns haven't done it since 2019, since Colt McCoy and that team took them to the Rose Bowl. Ever since they lost to that game, that Rose Bowl national championship to Alabama, they haven't won the Big 12. There's only been 3 Big 12 winners for the Longhorns in the history of the entire league. This year will be their last chance to reclaim the Big 12 before they head on to the SEC next year in the 2024 season. Now, the Longhorns did go 8-5 overall last year. They did lose the bowl game to Washington in the Alamo Bowl up in San Antonio, so they ended kind of on a sour note, but it was a big, big improvement from the team before with Steve Sarkisian all the way until last year. And then, of course, last year was Quinn Ewers' first year with the team. Now, the Longhorns did have some guys who were selected for the preseason All-Big 12 team, which was the most for any conference. They had a total of 5 Longhorns selected. We're talking junior wide receiver Xavier Worthy, junior tight end Jatavian Sanders, sophomore left tackle Kelvin Banks Jr., junior defensive lineman Byron Murphy, and senior linebacker Jalen Ford. They all earned those preseason accolades and selections. Jalen Ford, matter of fact, earned his preseason Big 12 Defensive Player of the Year award. So, expecting a lot of big things from Jalen Ford, expecting a lot of big things from this Texas defense, and of course, this Texas offense. The Longhorns do return 15 starters from last year's team, including Quinn Ewers, which I'm going to dive into Quinn and some of my thoughts on him coming up here in a few minutes. They will have to replace Bijan Robinson. They will have to replace Roschon Johnson, amongst others, and that might be one of the biggest question marks for this Longhorns team is who's going to take over that running back 1, that running back 2 spot for Texas. Now, Texas did bring in a pretty big transfer wide receiver in A.D. Mitchell out of Georgia, who has won the national championship twice with Georgia, who has caught a touchdown in every single one of Georgia's playoff games. He's a big-time receiver. He's a big receiver to line up opposite Xavier Worthy. Xavier Worthy is the Devonta Smith to Sark's offense. This A.D. Mitchell is going to be like the A.J. Brown in Sark's offense. He's the big receiver. He's going to make the tough contested catches. He's going to get you the first down at the sticks and fight for some extra yards. Not saying that Xavier Worthy can't do that, but Xavier Worthy is more of a precision, crisp route runner. He's more of a run-after-the-catch guy. He's more of a I'm going to cross you and I'm going to beat you with my speed type of guy, and I'm going to go deep type of guy. I mean, we saw that whip route that he ran at the goal line last year. I forgot which game it was exactly, but he ran a crispy whip route for a touchdown, and that had NFL scouts salivating all over the place. So Worthy, you got Mitchell at wide receiver. You got the big man Jatavian Sanders at tight end, who's expected to have a big year. But it's all not going to be put together unless the man who is throwing the football can have himself an incredible season, and that is Quinn Ewers. Of course, Ewers did miss 6 games last year. He was hurt in that Alabama game, and prior to that, though, we saw all of the promise. We saw all of the potential in Quinn Ewers when he was dicing up that Alabama defense, and whenever he looked like his number 1 overall ranking suggested. Quinn Ewers, I'm very confident in this kid. I know he had a couple of bad games last year. In particular, that Oklahoma State game where he threw 3 interceptions, and went 19 of 49 passing. I get it. He had his struggles. He had some freshman learning to go through. But now that he has, relatively a full season under his belt, now that he has some experience, now that he has another full camp with the Longhorns, now that he has Arch Manning behind him, pushing him and making him better, the quarterback room for Texas is absolutely stacked. So there's tons of talent in there. And by all reports, Quinn Ewers has come in with a much more renewed focus. And according to reports out there, absolutely shredded and built for this season. 2,177 yards, 15 touchdowns, 6 interceptions, a 64.8 quarterback rating, good for 53rd in the nation. I am confident that Quinn is going to pick that up, and I would dare say that Quinn Ewers could be in the Heisman Trophy conversation this year if he does play to projections. Now, ESPN did release a early 2024 mock draft, and much to my surprise, Quinn Ewers was in the top 10 of that draft. He was the third quarterback taken, right behind Caleb Williams, right behind Drake May, but Quinn Ewers was the third quarterback taken at number 8 in the top 10 of the draft. So that's what we're talking about here with the Longhorns, with Ewers, and what kind of season he's projected to have. NFL scouts already have him in the top 10 of next year's draft. If he can play and produce like that, this Longhorn team should live up to their billing and should win the Big 12 championship. That's just my take. I think Quinn could do it. I think he's that kind of quarterback. Now, let me go ahead and get to who is expected to compete with Texas in the Big 12. The way the voters voted, Texas at number 1, Kansas State at number 2, Oklahoma at number 3, Texas Tech 4, TCU 5, Baylor 6. Those are the top 6 teams in the Big 12 expected to compete for the title this year. Of course, Oklahoma, second year under Brent Venables. Texas whipped their ass last year 49-0. I don't expect the same thing. Anytime there's a butt whooping in the rivalry game, the Red River Shootout Classic, whatever the hell they call it nowadays, the next year is usually a lot closer. I think this year will be probably a little bit more of a closely contested game, but Texas should still beat them. There will be times this year when Texas goes on the road and they might struggle. That just happens. It happens every single year with Texas in the Big 12. So hopefully Texas can get it done. I got high aspirations for them, but are they back? Can they be back? I think they can be back this year. I think they have the roster. They have the makings. They got everything going for them under Sarkisian. The way Sark's been hitting the transfer portal, the way he's been recruiting, he is just building and stacking and getting this team ready for whenever they do have to compete in the SEC next year. But this year, the guys he has now are definitely ready to take the Big 12 back and possibly, I will say possibly, make the playoff. I think they would probably have to go undefeated. I think they could probably maybe lose one game at most, but still have to win the Big 12 in order to get to the playoff, much like the way TCU did, right? Last year, whenever they made the playoff, and then they made a run to the national championship game. So, Texas, excited about the season coming up. Cannot wait for these guys to hit the field. And in a couple of weeks, I mean, they're going to already start practicing. Fall camp is coming for the Texas Longhorns, and I can't wait for that. Cannot wait for that. So there we go. If you have any takes on Texas, make sure to get them on into the chat. Would love to get your takes. Even after the video is done, even after the recording is done, you can always drop a comment, and I will try to get to you guys as soon as I can so that way we can interact and have ourselves a nice conversation about that. All right, quick thoughts on Victor Wembanyama. Victor Wembanyama didn't have the best of game in his first Summer League game, but he bounced back. He bounced back in a big way on Sunday night with 27 points, 12 rebounds, 3 blocks, 1 steal, 9 of 14 shooting, which is great. Picked up that shooting percentage. 2 of 4 from 3, 7 of 12 from the free throw line. You saw it. It was there. All the naysayers, all the haters, everybody who wanted to declare him a bust immediately shut up. They were silent on Sunday night. And that's the thing you're going to find when it comes to the troll, when it comes to the person who's going to hate on Wembanyama. They're going to peek their heads every time he has a bad game. They're going to say what they say. They're going to make their memes, blah, 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 blah. They're going to talk their crap. But whenever Victor has a good game like the way he did on Sunday, it's going to be silence. You could hear a pin drop on Sunday on social media whenever those people shut up and went back to their troll caves. But that's their playbook. That's what's going to happen. And I got a lot of buddies who are Spurs fans, and they're not used to this. They are not used to this. And you know what? It shocks me. It shocks me because I'm used to it. As a Cowboys fan, I'm used to it. As a Longhorn fan, I'm used to it. As an Astros fan, I am used to this. I've been hardened by those three teams to accept what is going to come with Victor Wembanyama and with the national scrutiny that's going to happen. Believe me, every time Dak Prescott does bad, it's on all the talking head shows the next day. That's all they can talk about. There's memes left and right. Facebook, Twitter, Instagram, you name it. TikTok, all that crap. I'm used to this. And it's going to happen with Wemby. It just is. An international star like him, everybody is going to want to pick this kid apart whenever he has a bad game. Just don't get thrown off sides. Don't try to defend every single thing that people will say because it's going to wear you out. I promise it's going to wear you out. I used to do that with Dak Prescott. I used to think I had to put my shield up for Dak Prescott every single time, but it wore me out because these people who do this, these people who criticize these players for any little thing, guys, they won't stop at nothing because they think they're right no matter what. You cannot talk reason to these people. You cannot give logical explanations to these people. They will not hear the stats that you have to back up your argument. They just won't. They are literally just a bunch of brickheads that just don't want to hear nothing. So, bit of advice to Spurs fan out there who might not be used to this. Yes, you're going to be tempted to defend Wemby at every corner, but just let Wemby's play do the talking, all right? And that's what's going to shut these trolls up at the end is whenever Wembanyama is doing what he did on Sunday night in a consistent basis in the regular season. That is what will shut up the trolls. And even at that, you'll still have those idiots out there who are still going to talk their smack and try to throw you offside. So just hold your ground. Don't fall for the hard count. And keep your hand in the ground and don't flinch, guys. Don't flinch. I promise you they will try their best to do that. But Victor did great. Some amazing plays out there from Wembanyama and just overall fantastic. I couldn't be happier with the way he bounced back from his game. And now he's shut down for the rest of Summer League, which is fantastic. I think that's the right call. Let him rest. He needs to rest. He needs to regroup. He needs to live in the gym. He needs to be at that Spurs practice facility to focus for October when the regular season starts. We won't see this kid play again until October, and I'm excited about that because that gives him about 2.5 months to get better, to get right, to improve. So there we go. Just my quick take on Victor Wembanyama and all those idiot trolls out there who are going to be coming for him. They will. It's going to happen. Just do not fall for the hard count. Oh, man. All-Star game is tonight. I love the All-Star game for Major League Baseball. I think it's incredible. One of my favorite All-Star games of all time. Not the biggest fan of the Pro Bowl or what used to be of the Pro Bowl. Even now, the skills competition, I don't like it. The NHL All-Star games are right. The MLS All-Star game, they usually play against a European team. That's all right. The basketball All-Star game, I'm not really a big fan of. There's something about the baseball All-Star game that means a lot more to me because you truly do see the best of the best play each other. You truly do see, some competition, some spirit between the leagues of National League and American League wanting to get the wins. And it does get competitive. It is lighthearted and fun. Of course, it's an exhibition. But once upon a time, it used to matter for home field advantage. And that was pretty intense in its own right that Major League Baseball used to do that. But All-Star game tonight, looking forward to it. Looks like a good time out there in Seattle. The Home Run Derby was last night. Shout out to Vlad Guerrero Jr. for taking the Home Run Derby and for absolutely hitting some 110-mile-per-hour baseballs that were just peltering little kids in the outfield as they tried to, retrieve some of those balls that didn't go for home runs. That was interesting. I'm not sure Major League Baseball wants to do that again. The way the exit velo nowadays off these Major League players at bats, you definitely got to be careful out there. But shout out to Vlad Guerrero Jr. Looking forward to a good All-Star game tonight. And real quickly before we end the James Espinosa Show episode number 5, shout out to Blake Mitchell, Sinton's own, for being drafted in the first round of the Major League Baseball draft, 8th overall, a top 10 pick to the Kansas City Royals. That's incredible. Big claps for Blake Mitchell. Big claps for Blake Mitchell. Awesome job, Blake. Awesome job. Definitely going to be following this kid's career, and had the opportunity to call a couple of his games when for the MIC Sports Network here in Corpus Christi. These past couple of seasons, had a couple of games we called of Sinton's and saw the man, the myth, the legend, Blake Mitchell in person. So hopefully we see him with the big squad. Best of luck to Blake Mitchell going forward from the James Espinosa Show. That's going to wrap it up. Episode number 5 is in the books. Had some technical issues at the beginning. Shout out to Anthony Gonzalez for letting me know. It's going to happen whenever you go live. Sometimes you forget to hit a button or two. Oops, that's my bad. But I'll be back on Thursday. Another topic to come. Going to spill some more sports thoughts for you. Make sure to subscribe to my YouTube channel, Sports Rush Media. Hit me up on all social media platforms at Sir Edward James. And, of course, find me on Spotify. Find me on iHeart. Find me on all podcast platforms, James Espinosa Show. Just search it, follow it, listen, of course, and if you want, give me a rating and give me a sub. That'd be absolutely fantastic. Help us grow the show. Help us get out there. All right, guys, hope you guys have a great rest of your Tuesday. I shall talk to you later. Peace.